The YouTube controversies Iceberg explained by FoxAkimbo. We'll go in. I don't know honestly what to expect, right? We had a lot. I saw on the thumbnail we have Logan Paul on there, so probably we're gonna see some bodies. Well, not literally, but it's gonna be about his favorite controversy, right? This is like 5 years ago, so this is before the crypto zoo, I'm pretty sure. We'll go in.
Okay, so I have to be the 1 millionth person to do a YouTube iceberg out there. I myself have already made 2, but my audience wasn't as big as it is today. Either way, I definitely recommend watching them after this video, and I'm going to try and not repeat any of the same entries that I did in either one of those videos in this one. So if there's something that you know about that I haven't covered here, chances are that I've probably touched it in a previous video. Anyways, you're here because you want to hear the scandalous, you're intrigued by the controversial. Mystery is a door and you want to go through and see what's behind. Well, you're in luck because in this video...
Nah, I'm just a drama whore. Gonna say it the way it is. I love drama. As long as I'm not involved, I really love looking at them beating each other's ass, right? I just love it, right? Like the Kermit Deme situation, right? On Twitter, right? I'm enjoying this. Like, I'm sitting there, and I'm indeed, like... I'm watching this, right? I'm enjoying this. That's all I can say. Like, I'm indeed enjoying this. I don't care. I'm just sitting here and looking at this and be like, yeah, beat her ass. She's stupid. I love drama.
We're going to be going through YouTube's entire history and looking at the most controversial moments, the most scandalous events, and the most messed up incidents that this platform has to offer. While there's going to be a few here that I'm sure that you're going to know about, there might be a few later on that you might not be so aware of, so definitely stick with this video and we'll take a drive down Half-Wit Highway. One last thing, please do not send hate to anyone involved in this video, even the really shitty people. I don't condone that whatsoever. So without further ado, this is the YouTube Scandals and Controversies Iceberg explained. Up first we have Logan Paul and his trip to Japan. I'm sure you...
The most legendary trip to Japan in probably YouTube history. This man went to Japan and filmed the body. Straight up. Put it on YouTube. It is outrageous, right? This was time, definitely. This is before Crypto Zoo. Like, right? This should be not this what that happened, but this video should be before Crypto Zoo. That was the second one.
All know about the video that I'm speaking about because he went to a forest in Japan that's famous for people, unfortunately, ending their own lives. And then the next week he decided to tase a dead rat. So why did he do it? I think at the time he and his brother were looking for the next big outrageous thing to do on their channels. Similar to a good story, each video has to top the last. The problem with this though is that there's absolutely a line between content that pushes boundaries and content that is there for shock value and shock value alone. What Logan Paul did for a bit of money, a few subscribers, and to make a video was at the very least disgusting and at most an unforgivable few minutes that should have ended the man's presence online. He's since made perhaps the most iconic apology video of all time, but he's ultimately bounced back. The response to this controversy from a few fellow creators...
That was indeed, right, one of the greatest apology videos of all time. There's no doubt about it, right? It was. There's nothing to say about it, right? It was a legendary one, right? It's insane that was a thing. It was kind of interesting, right? That how easily, right, he bounced back, because normally, like, right, you wouldn't expect somebody to recover from this that easily, right? And then he bounced back kind of from Crypto Zoo. He's always bouncing back, right? Eventually, I think as a creator, you're eventually so big that you're too big to fail no matter what you do. That's just me, right?
Online was fair enough because what Logan did at the end of the day was devoid of human empathy in my books. You might be able to forgive him, but it's important to never forget that this man thought that filming a dead man's body after he hanged himself was acceptable behaviour, which it clearly is not. PewDiePie racism. I think I need to be as unbiased
I knew it was in here. Is PewDiePie dropping the hard R gonna be here? Yes, it is. You predicted it. Yes, it is. I'm gonna be honest. This is not a big deal. I'm gonna be completely real. This is not a big deal. Like, this whole thing is older than my fucking grandma, I swear to God, right? Like, it is really not a big deal. Like, I'm like, at this point, right? I'm sitting here like, and at this point, it's been so long ago. People still bring this up, by the way, which is interesting, right? And they still hate him for it. I'm like, buddy, it's been so fucking long at this point. Like, it really isn't that deep anymore. I hardly doubt, right? You can't even cancel PewDiePie because that man is just living the dream, right? Wife, kids, nice home, nice life, right? This man is one. That's all it's really not that deep anymore.
Highest here as possible. I can't just include YouTubers that I don't care for. PewDiePie has been wrapped up in a lot of controversy throughout his time on YouTube. A lot of these scandals have been a bit race related, and while some of them are completely stupid, he has in fact had a slip up or two in a moment of weakness here or there. I'm sure you all know about the infamous bridge clip which triggered another adpocalypse, and in all fairness, the mainstream media has overblown.
Arguably, it didn't the PewDiePie thing did not trigger the apocalypse. What triggered the apocalypse was, first of all, YouTube by itself, right? YouTube on its own, but also, you guessed it, I would argue that Logan Paul's Japan trip and Logan Paul's behavior might have very much added to that, arguably. I don't think that the bridge incident actually had anything to do with the apocalypse. But we still judge Adolf for what he did, but that's not comparable. Bro said a word. But you know, in an interview, Logan said he doesn't understand the hate he gets. Well, then he hasn't really listened.
Many aspects of what PewDiePie has done in the past. Either way, this is still very common knowledge, so I think it's time to move down this iceberg. Stupid challenges. So I thought it would be good to include this one because they aren't specifically tied to any one person like some of the later challenges or pranks that we're going to be covering further down the iceberg, but some of these I just want to name drop for a second. This includes the Don't Judge Me challenge, which just got hijacked by a bunch of vain and vapid 16-year-olds trying to show the internet how attractive they were, but actually just said that people with glasses, gaps in their teeth and freckles were ugly. We also have the Tide Pod challenge, which...
Yep, not much to say here. Yeah, the stupid... However, honestly, the stupid challenge era was kind of still funny. I'm gonna be real, right? I'm gonna... like, if you eat a Tide Pod, I'm gonna say it this as softly as I can here, okay? If you eat a Tide Pod, that's just Darwinism, right? That's just survival of the fittest. That's just like fucking around and essentially finding out. That's what it is, right? That really is just fucking around and finding out.
But like, honestly, millions of years of evolution, and this is where the human race is at. People went to war so that you could shove a laundry pod in your mouth and disintegrate your tongue, bruh. And finally, we have the ice cream challenge, which was, in all honesty, probably how COVID started. If you were in a coma for the summer of 2019, this prank...
Yeah, I remember that, right? So they basically nommed on that ice cream, which is outrageous enough, and then they just put it back. They just straight up put it back, right? They just did. They put this fucking thing back. And obviously, right, if you then get the ice cream, yeah, you get the idea.
Would happen when someone licks ice cream and then, and this is the funny part, puts it back for an unsuspecting customer to later buy and then eat. This wasn't a prank. This was just being a complete From what I'm aware, the fad died out quickly because authorities cracked down hard on offenders who were threatened with large fines and even years of prison time. I think one guy who did it got 30 days in jail, and the original girl, I'm not too sure what happened to her. I heard that she was also potentially going away, but I never heard any updates. So if you know, please let me know down in the comments because I'd actually be quite interested in finding out what happened to her. Jake?
Well, it's also just outright criminal, isn't it? It's also just outright criminal.
Paul and Rice Gum promote gambling to children. I think I should also mention that T. Martin and Syndicate did this too, but I'm less familiar with their scandal. I think they promoted their site without disclosing that it was theirs, which is one of the reasons why YouTubers these days have to disclose if their video has been sponsored. Another reason behind this choice from YouTube headquarters though is that Jake Paul and Rice Gum had a scandal a couple years back. They were sponsored by this mystery box site and made it look like there was no way that you could lose. Just put in your parents' debit card and this mansion has the chance of being yours. I'm actually quite surprised that people forgave them so easily, because for me, this might be one of the worst things either one of them has done. And they've done some shit. It's truly despicable. Honestly,
I missed the time when IDUBS just absolutely murked. Right? Absolutely murked. You know, or Rice Gum, right? With his like diss track. Those were good fucking times. Like, let's be real. Those were good times, right? Those were legendary times, right? This is how it should be, right? This is how it should be. Like, those were fun times. I'm gonna admit, right? That was good. That was such a good and fun thing, right? That diss track, peak.
this was an awful
Sadly, Boy in the Band is in there, and IDUBS, of course, now. So it didn't age well, but yeah, Boy in the Band was in there. The guy that was found in a boy. Boy in the Band was later found in a boy. Anyway.
abuse of power, and only went to show how vain, superficial, vapid, and self-absorbed the pair were. Each of their content was more narcissistic, vapid, and uninspired than the other. I'm sorry for going on about them for so long, but these blokes are complete f***ing planks. Nicole Arbor's Dear Fat People. I mean, this is a real blast from the past.
Oh god, I remember this, right? So I didn't know initially that this existed. I found this out after the fact, obviously. But yeah, this is a thing. This is a video. This is definitely a video, guys. This is a video of all time. That is indeed something.
The least funny person on the internet made a video trying to be funny at
And didn't she make a sequel? Maybe I'm misremembering it, but I thought she made a sequel. Again, I could be wrong, but I thought there was a sequel.
overweight people's expense. It wasn't funny, it was spiteful. Comedy is of course subjective. Our tastes might differ, but in my opinion, a fat joke, or any joke for that matter, can be on the cards, provided that it doesn't come out of a place of hatred and malice. Nicole Arbor didn't get this memo though, because her video was just masked as trying to be funny when it was actually just racking on overweight people for a few minutes. Which everyone with half a mind would know that if you're trying to get people to lose weight, that's the inverse of what you want to do. If you want people to make healthier life choices, encourage them to do that, don't shame them for not doing it. We respond better to positive reinforcement. Back onto the story of Arbor, she followed up this masterpiece of content with
Not really, right? We're at a time where it's not glorified to be overweight, so can that argument really count at this point? I don't know. I'm unsure if it can. Okay, well, the fact you told me you didn't know about this. I didn't know about this until we, right, not too long ago, watched the video about it. Otherwise, I would still not know about this. But we watched the video, so obviously I know about this now.
the extremely popular Dear Black People, Dear Feminists, Dear Transgender People, and my personal favourite,
What was the Dear Feminist one about? Maybe she was incredibly based in that regard.
Dear Refugees. In recent
Very based. Maybe very based, actually.
years, while there's no denying that she still has an audience, most of her videos don't seem to be as popular as her Dear series was, and at the time she released Dear Fat People, others online basically took turns roasting her and criticising her message, which, you know, that's where the controversy comes from, because this wasn't a funny video, this was a spiteful, angry video that was masked as comedy. TanaCon. Tana Mojo has been in drama quite a few times on the platform, but TanaCon might just be the height of her scandals. A few years ago, she thought that it would be a good idea to have a convention all about her, which
Wasn't that the chick that got absolutely obliterated by IDUBS? Shit, I think that is the same woman. I could be wrong, but I think that is the same lady. Of course. But I think it is. I think it was. I think that was the same lady.
doesn't sound narcissistic or an easy way to make money from your impressionable audience whatsoever. I'm sure she just did it to connect with her fans. So what's the scandal about? The problem arose when the event could only hold 1,000 people, and there were only 25 security guards on hand to deal with about 5,000 people that came. No food, no water, no Tanacon, and from what I understand initially, no refunds. The rumour was that Tanamojo was fully okay in not giving people refunds for taking the time out of their day to wait in the blistering heat for a person they adore enough to travel from across the country. They did that for her, and apparently initially she didn't want to reimburse them. However, after YouTubers such as Shane Dawson and James Charles, you know, the good guys, took to social media to call her out, she quickly changed her mind to try and save face, and as far as I know, everyone got a refund. The convention was also apparently meant to spike VidCon too because she was banned from VidCon. This was her revenge, and my god did it come to bite her in the arse. YouTubers, you've done awful rap, you've done awful boxing, you've done awful movies, you've done awful books.
Yeah, let's really not mention Creator Clash. This is an absolute shit show, right? So much so, right? Which is interesting, right? When we look at, I think that might be one of the most scammy charity events that exist, right? When it comes to YouTube's history. They really just use this to pay. They really just use the charity money to pay themselves and nothing else. We have no proof where that money went from the last time already, right? It left iDubbbz and his husband with insane debt. I don't know, man.
Don't do awful conventions too, like everything we touch turns to shit. TGF Bro gets head stuck in a microwave. If you haven't heard of this story yet, this is legitimate, yes, it happened. Back in late 2017, Jay from TGF Bros thought that it would be a fun idea to cement his head in a microwave for a video. Now, just by hearing that logline for the content, you can probably take a guess as to why this video might be viewed as controversial, and no, it wasn't because children would start copying it, because no child in their right mind would copy this. They wouldn't have access to a microwave and cement, and even if they did, it's cementing your head inside a microwave, unless you're this guy who...
Well, modern problems require modern solutions. If you need to do crazy to go viral, so why not cement your head into a microwave? Wait, that reminds me, there was a 911 episode, right? Where one guy just cemented his head into like a metal box. I remember that.
did it for 11,000 views. Instead, this video was featured in the news because it was criticised for wasting emergency services time. It went wrong when the cement hardened too quickly and it stuck Jay's head in there with very little oxygen. I think he was like breathing through a straw or something. The firemen had to be called in and they had to get this thing off. People argue that they really should have been out there doing other things instead of dealing with this numpty. In his interview with the news, Jay didn't really seem to be remorseful, which is apparently not uncommon for him because he...
Understandable though, they should have just let him in there, I'm gonna be real. Like, yeah, just let him in there, right? He chose this survival, once again, a strong defender of survival of the fittest.
He just doesn't give a fuck. These guys are also creators who like to go over the line, but cementing your head in a microwave has to take the cake. All I can say is at least their videos are at their own expense, which is at least what separates it to some of the YouTubers further down this list. Now, thinking back to the Jake Paul and Rice Gum video, that was absolutely money grabbing, right? But it's not just American YouTubers that have appeared superficial and money obsessed. Over here in the UK, we've had Alfie Day's iconic £1 video, as well as his I'm Not a Toy response video. But today, I want to speak about the even more controversial Zoella's advent calendar, priced at...
She looks familiar. She looks absolutely familiar. I just don't know how, but she looks familiar.
£50. At £50, this...
£50 for an advent calendar? This better come with at least 3 rounds of dick sucking at that point.
Advent calendar had 12 doors instead of 24, so you've got about half the presents at about 20 times the price of a normal advent calendar. Now, high-class advent calendars are nothing new, right? The trick is that your products need to appear as though they're worth as close to what you're charging as possible, while still making a small profit margin. Did Zoella's calendar do this? Absolutely fucking not. Inside the advent calendar included, and I'm not making this up, a bauble, some glitter, a cookie cutter, 7 stickers. That one, she really treated it on that one. 7 stickers, a small toiletries bag, a candle, some lipstick. I don't know what this thing is. Another cookie cutter, a pen and notepad, in different days, mind you, and then another candle to top it all off. Like, if I were to be completely honest, I think that all of these items...
$15? Somewhere there, right? $15. I'd say $15. And if this was pre-2020, could have honestly been like 10, if you're really lucky.
Items together, as well as the box, which is probably nicer than the items, would probably cost perhaps £15, nowhere near what she's charging. Some of these items are inexcusable. Charging people £50 and giving them 7 stickers and some glitter is messed up. Exploiting a child audience at its most basic form. I really don't watch Zoella, so I don't know if this speaks well on the content of her character, but this was a huge blunder. It should have never been sold, especially not for £50. To add to this, you can actually Google a few of these. They cost less than £1. These products weren't even of good quality half the time. It was bad, it was controversial. Let's move on. Eating live animals. So I wasn't aware of this until Moist Critical made...
Honestly, this one's not uncommon, right? This one's arguably, I don't know how YouTube's right took this, but this one particularly does not feel like it is that uncommon, like or something crazy, because right, we always have that issue where like, while this is crazy and shouldn't probably be put on YouTube, it is in their culture, and for them it might be something normal. That's just the harsh truth.
A video on it, and to be honest, I actually think it's kind of flown under the radar for the most part. So Young has to be the worst offender for this, and for me, this content is evil, right? I've been trying to cut down...
I mean, this content is evil by itself because it essentially promotes gluttony, right? It's essentially that, right? It is gluttony, right? It is insanely gluttonous to make this content, right? Most of these people don't even eat this. They just take it in their mouth. They, you know, they bite down on it, and then a cut. They never swallow it. They spit it out, right? This is gluttony. These videos are gluttonous.
On my red meat intake over the past few months for my own health and also the environment, right? But eating meat in moderation should be seen as fine. You shouldn't be shamed for eating meat whatsoever. Eating live animals, on the other hand, is inhumane. Put yourself in their shoes. It's torture. She plays with her food whilst it's alive. It's disgusting. Again, it's void of any semblance of empathy. Basically, if you haven't heard of So Young before, in her videos, she plays with her live food, usually octopuses or squids, before gussing them alive, but really, really badly in a funny way. They're oftentimes just kind of squelching around because they're still alive. Sometimes she'll literally stick the food in her mouth whilst it's alive. I think that humans have dominion over nature, and so to do this is cruel. It's really cruel. Just a quick knife to the head would be fine, put it out of its misery, but these animals are alive and she's pouring sauce on them. It's sickening. And the fact that YouTube hasn't demonetized her is a joke. This isn't fun. This is cruelty, right? I hate octopuses and squids. I have a fear of them, right? I don't like the way they look.
Fear of octopuses and squids. But the huge problem is, right, that arguably, again, this is probably, if it's part of a culture, you can't really do much, right? Right, you can complain as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you likely won't be able to do much. I don't think this should be put on YouTube, right? But if she wants to do it, there's likely nothing you can do to stop it, right? That's just the truth, right? That's just the harsh truth. And what if YouTube bans it, but then everyone bonks YouTube because of like racism or something? You never know at this point, right? There's always a dangerous game to play.
This should tell you how messed up I think it is, because I hate these animals, but they should be given better than this. I'm disgusted by this, and the fact that it's not bigger news on YouTube is insane to me. You should be ashamed if you watch this content, and like, sorry not sorry, I'm not gonna lie, this really grinds my gears. It's controversial because obviously it is. Let's just move on before I blow a gasket. Neon fakes his own death. So we've heard about J-Station.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, well, that one's not new. I know that one.
Faking his own girlfriend's death, like the sociopath he is. In one of my other videos, we also spoke about these two imbeciles and how they said they were both dying, which is convenient enough that they're both dying, and then asked people to drop a sub in the same video. Well, this kid, Neon, went a step further a few years back and actually claimed that he died before being revived about 5 days later and uploading some Fortnite content. Long story short, he crafted a story in which he had a brain tumour and had to go to the hospital, and then in the same week he started a second channel, mysteriously from his own home. Oh, that's strange. Oh, he wouldn't be back at home uploading videos if he had a brain tumour, how bizarre. Yet this kid wasn't dying, he was just doing what all YouTubers do, and that's click.
So this is the right Neon. I was just confused. I was just confused, but yeah, it is that little little stickman Neon. Hi, Paul von Liebchen. Hi, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I feel the Kraken when I'm in the middle of the ocean on a small boat and nightmare fuel. Well, that's understandable, isn't it? I get that much. J-Station is poker. How would I be J-Station? Ew.
Baiting his videos, and then 8-year-olds just had to eat it up. Faking your death for views is sick. Right, not in a good way, it's disturbed. And what did you do it for? A few thousand views, a few subscribers, and you tricked your little impressionable audience into thinking that you were dead. And for the most part, he got off scot-free because he's still uploading videos to mixed reviews, but that's all there ever really was. Controversial, of course, but no repercussions. Reset arrested for homeless prank. This one really burns me to my core that any...
Oh, isn't that the one... Right, okay. Isn't that the one where essentially he puts toothpaste, right, between those Oreo cookies and hands them out? Is that what it was? Because I'm pretty sure.
One would think that this deprived little act is acceptable. Spanish YouTuber Reset gave Oreos to homeless people that contained toothpaste. That's right, this man gave tainted food to the most beaten down members of society for a bit of clout, a bit of cash, and to grow his channel. How does one rationalise this despicable behaviour? Well, Reset rationalised it by saying, and I quote, "This human piece of shit. Maybe I went a little too far, but on the bright side, this helped him clean his teeth." Clearly showing no remorse for his actions.
I mean, well, yes, but no, because of the chocolate with the cookie, so kind of not. Pokey, would you do this? Nope. I wouldn't give anything to homeless people. Reason being is, I've seen it too many times that homeless people aren't actually homeless. And I've heard stories of homeless people not being actually homeless, but being actually employed by others to sit there and farm money so they can give it back to their overlords. That's why I'm saying, do not give money to homeless people. There's a reason why this is said. If you want to give something to a homeless person, the most you could probably do is food.
He also tried to say that people like seeing what's morbid online. That's no excuse. That's inhuman. There is no thought of other people in that. Poisoning homeless people. Dude is a psycho and was jailed for 15 months, having to pay a 17k fine. And like, fair enough. Disgusting behaviour. Sorry for the bum tone at the end, but that is it from me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Looking at the length, this is going to be a long one. If you did enjoy, don't be afraid to subscribe and follow me on all of my socials. This iceberg chart was made by me, myself, and the FoxAkimbo Discord, so shout out to us. Join the Discord if you wish, links for...
Well, yeah, that's the end of this video. Why so many Spanish people doing this? Wasn't the person that was abusing cats on video, right, not also Spanish, if I remember correctly? Or like Mexican? Something like that, right? That was another one, right? That did also abhorrent shit, but it was to cats. And that was arguably much worse than the Oreo cookie thing, and how long it took for YouTube to actually get rid of this one. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. But yeah, I don't think it's particularly Spanish people doing that. Not that there's a lot of Spanish people in the future left. Anyway. Yes, he was. Yeah, wonderful.